Hi guys. So I'm coming to you from digital space here because my son pulled the classic vomit right before bedtime, and so it's 9:30 here at Slinger High School. But you guys have a pretty important essay to write today, and I don't want you to have to do that on your own. So here's a nifty little video to kind of help you out before you craft your first 40-minute essay of the semester. So we've been dealing with satire and talking about satire for quite a while now. And we've practiced it in pretty much every avenue except for this one, right? We took multiple choice questions about it. We've watched examples, we've read them, we've analyzed it, and so now it's time to kind of put that into the most formal, I guess, venue of what an analysis of satire is going to look like. And so, for your 40-minute essay today, you're going to be reading an actual prompt from the AP. Normally, if I were there with you, I'd be reading the instructions to you, so I'll just kind of make it clear to you right now. It's a rhetorical analysis, and so the question is the same as every other rhetorical analysis, right? What is the author's purpose, and what strategies does he or she use in order to achieve that purpose? And so, even though it's a piece of satire and it's a joke and it's sarcastic and it's all those different types of things, you still treat it as though it's a real essay, a real argument, and you're going to deconstruct it just like we have in the past, right? So on this prompt, I still want you to read the question, but I'm going to tell you the AP says, how does this article by The Onion criticize the way that products are marketed to consumers? So you don't have to worry about identifying the purpose because they've given it to you, right? How does this article criticize the way that products are marketed to consumers? So that's going to be the driving force of your entire essay, right? Your purpose statement, your thesis is going to feature that prominently, right? That this article was written in order to criticize the way products were marketed to consumers, and the author strengthens that purpose by using strategy 1, strategy 2, and strategy 3. The AP wants clarity and specificity, so we're going to give them that with what's called that closed thesis, so you have those 3 things listed. Then the rest of your essay is all about proving and supporting that statement, right? What strategies did the author use in order to strengthen that criticism, right? So this is where you'll come up with things like imagery or exaggeration or a certain type of diction or repetition. All those things that we've talked about and the things that you'll see when you annotate the text on the sheet, right? So the one thing that I wanted to talk about was the structure of your essay. I'm going to be grading it and giving you feedback based on that 6-point rubric. So I want to return kind of what your essay should look like. And the glare might not work and the screen might not work. You might not be able to read it as I go through it here, but it's on the front board, right? It's still there so you can take a look at it, listen, kind of watch and follow along. So as far as your introduction goes, we worked on the inverted pyramid introduction, right? And it has those 3 pretty clear steps, right? Even though we're reading an analysis about a piece of satire, your first goal is still to connect to your audience, right? So why should they care about your analysis of this piece? Why should they care about satire? Why should they care about marketing? Why should they care about The Onion? You get to decide what that connecting piece is and how you can get people interested in what it is that you have to say. In this middle section, this is where you identify the topic of your essay. So with a rhetorical analysis, it's really easy, right? You're going to mention the author's name and the title of the article here so that we know exactly what it is that you're talking about. This one doesn't have an author, and so you can say this piece written by The Onion and talk about them as like this disembodied vegetable that's writing the piece. And the piece we'll call Magnasols, right? It's an ad for Magnasols, a fake product that they're using for criticism's sake, but you can call it the Magnasols article. And then the point 3 is going to be your thesis, right? Where you identify, here's the author's purpose, and they strengthen it by using this, that, and the other thing, right? For the introduction, the only thing that's an absolute necessity is the thesis. The rest of it allows for a much more sophisticated product and allows me to understand why your writing should matter to me as an audience. Now, as we move to the middle section, I want you to remember the thing that we talked about when we reviewed the final exam, right? The way that the AP constructs this and grades this is if you do it correctly one time, you earn a 3 in that middle category, right? A 3 out of the 4 possible points. If you do it every time, you can earn all 4 of those points as well. So what I want you to recognize here is whether you have 2 or whether you make it all the way to 3 body paragraphs, that's okay. You can still earn all 4 points in the middle category, even if you only have 2 body paragraphs there. But however, whatever the number is going to be, every body paragraph has to identify what is a strategy that this author is using, right? The author uses repetition of a specific phrase, right? Then you identify what's the example. So if your point is repetition, the evidence is what is being repeated, quoted, and cited correctly, right? And then this is the big part, and that's why I've underlined it thrice, right? The explanation, right? Why does repetition enhance the criticism? Why does imagery enhance the criticism? And if you have the choice and the evidence but no explanation, you're never going to reach that 3, that 4 point because you're missing the core part of what this essay is supposed to be. All right, I got cut off a little bit there, but you're missing a core part of what this essay is supposed to be, right? Without an explanation, there is no analysis, right? So make sure that you have that and you go through it. And even if you feel like your analysis is self-explanatory, you don't get to feel that way, right? It's your job to explain it, so make sure that you do that. And then finally, we come down here to the conclusion. And again, if you're out of time, you don't have to worry about that. We've talked about cutting the conclusion as the first thing that you should do, the first move that you should make. But if you do have time, your conclusion shouldn't just be a restatement or a regurgitation of your introduction. It should do something new, right? It should give your audience 1 or 2 sentences to push them in the direction you want them to move. And if that direction is a better understanding of satire or marketing or consumerism or warning them against consumerism, that's great, right? That's what you should use those 2 sentences to do. So you're going to give yourself 40 minutes. You're going to use this time to write your essay. And before you leave today, whoever is subbing for me, you're going to submit those handwritten essays so that I can grade them. Check the Google Classroom. There's also a reflection piece that I want you to complete after those essays are done. So make sure that you take care of that, and we'll talk about this whole process when I return on Tuesday when I see you again. So over the weekend, last thing, I want you to be thinking about your approach to satire, right? On Tuesday, when we end this unit, we're going to do a journal entry that talk about your feelings about the effectiveness of it, and we're also going to have you write your own satires. So think of your topic, think of your approach, have those ready to roll. Good luck, everybody.